Dear guests, welcome to our first European Innovation and Tech Summit. AI is reshaping industries, societies, and economies. And Europe must align to turn technological potential into real sustainable impact. Our goal today is to bring together decision makers, diplomats, and leaders to shape Europe's tech policy. So at Akkodis, we are a leading digital engineering consulting company with 50,000 tech experts around the world, based in over 30 countries. And we bring a real passion for innovation and to accelerate tech. So that's why we also formulated today's question: how can AI bridge human ingenuity and machine precision? You will learn more about it later in our panel and in our roadmaps. But first, some practical information. So exits are marked right over here. And in case of emergency, please enter where you did enter also the hotel. So that's the main entrance of the hotel. So what to expect today? In the morning session, we will spend the time together here in the plenary. And we are committed to give you the most interesting insights from diplomacy, policymakers, think tanks, and industry. So we have first welcoming words of our Akkodis president. Then we will start into a really good spotlight here, the political spotlight panel. And then we will hear a keynote on responsible AI. But is there any good Brussels event without good food and enough time for networking? So we will have enough time over lunch to bring the food to you and to make the connection between you. In the afternoon, we will deep dive into specific domain sessions and discuss in roundtables. So one wish from my side: let's collaborate and let's use this day for a maximum of exchange. And with this, let me please introduce our first speaker. So Debecker is President and CEO of Akkodis for only 10 months, but also already for 10 months, I need to say, because he's very much behind this event and bringing it together. He has led successfully global leadership roles at Atos, Wipro, and HP. And he's a Swiss Belgian, so driving also European AI tech leadership. And AI is nothing new to him. He started in the very beginning of his career of neural networks and until today with agentic AI. So give a warm round of applause with me to Debecker, our Akkodis president.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I was not given slides nor a prompter, so I will use these pancards as well. First time for me, but thank you. So thank you very much. Today is a special day for Akkodis. It's the first time that we do this European Innovation and Technology Summit here in Brussels. I'm actually Belgian myself, and on our way over here, we passed via the Procter & Gamble site here in Strombeek, and I said to Anna, actually, this is where I start my career. So today feels a little bit like a full circle to me. I know I only have 10 minutes, so I'll hurry up. We are joined here today by some very interesting people. Thank you very much, and they're sitting here in the front rows here. Let me now use my pancart. Ambassador Kumar, welcome. Ambassador Crossdale Appleby, if I pronounce the name correctly. Ambassador Peterloo. Mr. Benifei, Member of the European Parliament, welcome. Dear Mrs. Isebrand Hollande Donk, Mr. Reddell, Mr. Christiansen, Mr. Matta, and Mr. Van Kouwenbergen. Distinguished guests and speakers, ladies and gentlemen, again, a warm welcome from my side as well. So the purpose of today is a little ambitious, I would say. It's to discuss Europe's technological future in AI. And actually a common theme in the last couple of weeks, if not to say months, is there a bit of a third way? So let's not go completely American and let's not go completely Chinese, but is there a European way to claim leadership in AI? And I think that's one of the key questions I would like all of us to think about. And it's a little bit linked to the mission statement of Akkodis, if I can talk about Akkodis for a second as well here, allow me. And our mission statement is basically to create a global powerhouse with European roots. And actually the question is, can we do the same with AI? And we have a purpose in Akkodis, and it's to build and engineer a smarter future together. That's our purpose. And the purpose of this summit today is the convergence of diplomacy, as Anne already said, politics, industry, and think tanks. Basically a forum to explore how engineering AI technologies are shaping the future of Europe today and hopefully also tomorrow. And so today, discussion centers around the question, how can AI bridge human ingenuity with machine precision? And for those who are watching Akkodis, we've launched a few months ago our own version of AI called Akkodis Intelligence, smartly, AI as well. And that's because we believe we have something to say on the AI story. And that is that we think that AI is a human technology. It might be slightly provocative, but we believe that AI should put the human at the center. And so therefore, combining human ingenuity with machine precision, which is a little bit a common theme of today, is very much linked to the way we look at AI and how AI should be built in the future. All right, so how do we build AI responsibly? How do we build it collaboratively at speed and at scale? And here, for those who were at Davos, there was one word coming back, which is trust. Trust is driving, actually, the rollout and the industrialization of AI. And so the question is, how do we build trust in AI? I'll give a few examples of that later. So today, we're going to focus on 4 strategic sectors for European AI leadership. And I have to say, we have various speakers and very interesting speakers around those. Healthcare and life sciences, public sector, autonomous driving and robotics, and of course, very hot topic, which is around defense. So as these sessions go along, I would like to invite you to reflect on how can we drastically increase Europe's competitiveness, but also speed, and I would say trust in AI. So something to think about. A few observations I wanted to kind of highlight, and I think it's important because it will guide the discussions we're going to have here today. And I already discussed it with the ambassador. I mean, the world order of yesterday is actually no longer applicable. And we're facing, as European continent, a geopolitical, technological, and I would say even societal, deep and troubled waters. And I'd like to quote the Canadian Prime Minister, who did a tremendous speech lately, who said, actually, this change, it's not a transition. It's a rupture. It's a real rupture. And I told to some of you I'm actually Swiss, but also Belgian, so I'd like to quote the Belgian Prime Minister, who I have to say summarized it very well, and now I need to read. We have become totally dependent on technology that we do not own and that we do not control. It's time to wake up. We need our own technological platforms to build prosperity for tomorrow. And so I was thinking about that, and one other thing came clearly out of the many AI sessions in Davos, which is there is a place for Europe here. If we can do responsible innovation in AI, Europe could claim the leadership on that. And so the core question for me for today is, how do we rapidly build this? How do we then govern it? How do we deploy it? And then how do we scale it responsibly? So 5 messages I wanted to give to you, 5. First of all, I believe that 2026 is going to be the year of the realism, and in a way, the year of less AI. Why am I saying that? I think we need to do less pilots, but more scale. Less width, more depth. Less hype, more value. And so I want each of you guys to think, what is the AI case in your business, in your field, you want to be known of? Take it and implement it really deep into your organization. So more depth, less width. And so for me, 2026 is the year of the real impact of AI. And I'll give you a few examples, if I may. In Akkodis, we built, and actually we've shown it in the Paris Air Show, an AI application to reduce the aircraft downtime. So that is for carriers real impact. In automotive, and I see my automotive leader there, we actually use AI to quicker develop full vehicles. So it's quicker time to market for our European clients to beat the Chinese OEMs. Real impact. Another example, and I can explain it in details during lunch, we've built an application on which AI is running to detect crime much faster. What would take 6 months now takes police 2 weeks. Actually, it is so cool that it actually now almost detects and prevents crime. For those who have seen Minority Report, it's among us. So that's, again, real impact. So 26, real impact. Second message is around our role as European continent. I think we must stay value-driven, and we need to recalibrate our alliances. And I don't think it's Europe versus US or Europe versus China, and I think the latest collaboration and treaty versus India and Europe is a very nice example of what I would call the third way, the European way on how to build and govern AI. And I think it always must be aligned to the core values of Europe. And at the same time, we need to allocate capital quickly. And one data point was thrown at me 2 weeks ago, and I want to share it with you, because people always say, but there's not enough capital in Europe to kind of match what's happening in Silicon Valley. Well, the total amount of capital that sits on bank accounts and saving accounts in Europe is actually as big as the total investment capital of private equity companies in California. Think about it. So the money is there. So how do we create a framework of risk-taking and accelerate the AI developments on top? And of course, build strategic partnerships. I think that's what Europe should do. Again, remaining true to its values. Third message, infrastructure is not enough. Yesterday I was reading the newspaper, and I read that Meta will invest $115 to $135 billion just in infrastructure in AI. That's one company. I mean, those numbers are staggering. And Jensen Huang of NVIDIA said that AI is actually an infrastructure play, and they're probably right. My point is that infrastructure itself is not enough. So gigafactories is not enough. We need usability. We need deployment. We need entrepreneurial mindset. We need compliance. We're going to talk about it today. We need trust. And dare I say, we need it in a sustainable way. So a few examples of that. We built the AI core platform in Germany, actually. It's completely GDPR compliant. It's compliant with the EU AI Act. And it has saved 90% of time and cost with our clients. Port of Antwerp Bruges will explain this as well. I think all around building autonomous systems in a sustainable way. Then there's a Pioneers project, 46 partners involved to build emission reduction and get green ports by 2050. I'll just give it as one other example of the way Europe should position its AI. Okay, fourth message, disruption, not destruction. I want to quote something that I use a lot with my own team. We overestimate technology in the short term. Always do, but we underestimate its impact in the long term. And so I think in the long term, AI will be a disruptor of jobs, but not a distractor. And some of you know that Akkodis is part of the Adecco Group, and Adecco Group, I think when it comes to workforce management, is the leader in the world. And they sit on a lot of data. And actually, Adecco did a very interesting comparison. And they compared the introduction of PCs and laptops, the introduction of the internet, the introduction of smartphones on the x-axis, and on the y-axis, they basically showed the amount of jobs that were either replaced or created, or the amount of jobs that was touched by the new technology. And they mapped all those 3 new technologies on this graph, and then they did the same with AI, and it's almost following exactly the same pattern. And all these other technologies, actually, if we look at it backwards, it created more jobs than it distracted. So maybe AI has got a similar, schedule ahead. So interesting. Last point, and I mentioned this, is AI is a human technology. At its core, AI should actually unlock human capacity and potential. And within healthcare and life science, I talked with a few general practitioners, and they said, when it comes to looking and scanning and interpreting MRI scans, AI can do it better than me. And this was a general practitioner telling me, saying, I've given up. I'm no longer doing this. I'm asking AI to scan it because it can find much more. So clear example that AI can do more than humans. But at the same time, I would say that humans can do more together with AI than AI alone. I'll give you an example. Let's assume tonight you want to write a poem for your partner. You can go to ChatGPT and get a very nice poem. But if you really want to make it personal to your partner, it does need a human touch in it. So human and AI can do more than AI alone. And so I think it's time for a human-centric AI. And so responsible AI must be built by design in everything that we build, with humans firmly in the loop. Let's take the MRI as another example. Who of you would like to be operated based on an automatically generated diagnosis of an MRI scan? Or do you want to at least have one general physician as a checkpoint before you get operated? I think it's going to be the latter. So trust is a key component on AI and human in the loop as well. And actually, Google pulls it human in the loop. Microsoft is actually pushing us co-pilots, not autopilot. So they all have the same concept of human in the loop. So AI must be human-centric, value-driven, I would say, and responsibly deployed. And so, aligned with what I would say the Akkodis spirit, it's time to innovate and to co-create, I would say, to accelerate and to advance progress and to believe in the future and that there is a third way for Europe. And so let's do it the European way, collaborative, value-driven, open, compliant, and human-centric. So voila, I'd like to finalize with a quote of one of the leaders of AI in California, a guy called Mustafa Solomon. And he was looking at the general applicability of AI, and it's so general applicable in every single facet of our everyday life that it will proliferate, as it's happening already today, at a record speed. And so he's saying AI will arrive as an unstoppable wave. Instead of overwhelming us, let's ride the wave. And so I think it's time for us and for Europe to build a surfboard. Thank you.